Uh, Everything works. Yes. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Supposedly, we should be over right now. Anyway. Oh, but what a long sequence, as you will say. Oh, it has been quite a long time since the last occasion that I was here. So, uh, what what happened so far? What a crazy time is. It was very interesting this last handful of days. You can learn this stuff. It's very interesting to see that even in what feels like just a handful of days itself, you can learn out things, you can integrate concepts, you can dedicate yourself basically to processing and stuff, I guess. And it's very crazy, I guess, to see in many ways how possible it can be to experience something of that sort. It's like, in the average, I don't think I truly hear people talk about, oh yeah, you know what, today I will dedicate myself to learning about things and sort of getting a little bit of a better picture about the world, so to speak, in a way, just enjoying or increasing the quality. It's like, in terms of a program, we all operate like programs to some degree, and the whole thing is always we all could run better. We just need more optimization and trying to get that by oneself. Basically, that's, I don't know if the issue, but just the process, the endless process, and yeah, it has been mostly a week of that. This past week has been pretty useful in that sense. It feels, I guess, time spent on what one truly likes feels, while also passing very rapidly, feels eternal in the sense that we get to enjoy those activities that fulfill us the most. So unavoidably, trying to follow anything like that and trying to make it a constant event will end up making it feel as if it was a very extended period of time. It's the concept of happiness, let's say, this whole idea about how we don't really have happiness, we only have moments or glimpses of happiness, that's it. There is no way in which you can live an entire life being happy. We can have an entire life in which we were happy throughout it, but it's impossible to have a life in which only happiness exists. And in that sense, in the possibility of getting to act what we like, it becomes a lot more easy to say that one is enjoying life in a sense. And I don't know if it is actually an issue or just trying to perform anything like that is complicated, I guess. Also, good evening, good afternoon, Tarasari, welcome. Salary, men, no, not tired, salary. Sorry. But yeah, that I guess has been what happened lately, what has happened. And yeah, I guess we have been here at the very least more compared than before, so that's also something. The, I don't know, this sort of thing about actually using your time in what you like is It's complicated, I guess. Uh, I wouldn't say being an adult, being responsible for your own entertainment and for the usage of your own time sometimes means that you have the possibility of doing a lot of things that you might say you like, and choosing what is actually useful. Not in the sense of just having anxiety, but rather in the sense of, okay, I will choose something that I feel fulfilled with doing, not something new to try out. This necessity to explore all that we have, not that sensation of that, so to speak, thirst for more, but rather just not even the comfort, just moving within the zone or the boundaries of what we have already defined as interesting. And being capable of committing to those things is complicated. And I don't know. I will say personally, I haven't tried my best. That's what I was trying to go with all of this. I haven't tried my best for this last week or so. I've tried something along those lines. To a certain degree, life possesses a lot of opportunities in which one could truly just enjoy being instead of being tormented by this necessity to stay alive, so to speak. And something funny is there are many things that I can actually try to have, to do, to be a part of, to make happen. All of those things are possibilities. Does that mean that I will participate in any of that? Maybe not, but at the very least, I get the pleasure of having the possibility to say that I tried, and it's so much better when one does than just in the going back to not even staying in the issue of oh wow I don't even know what to pick, rather staying with what is already a known healing part of life is interesting. There are many things that one can always try to do. And committing to that is complicated instead of taking new directions, I guess. It's part of, I don't know, everything. Maybe it's the wrong way to say it, but to some degree it feels like this new world, everything moves so fast. We have so many chances to do so many new things that it's somewhat easier to just stay on the lookout for anything new always. This constant interest for the newest thing instead of possessing one proper comfort interest. Not even in the sense of oh yeah, I don't know, I am addicted to drinking alcohol, so I will at least I know that I am happy doing that. I will stay doing that. No. Not trying to validate anything related to addictions. Those are also things that you could say, make you feel good, but not specifically about that. Rather, just being part of what we already know we want to have, what we already know we like to do, is on one hand complicated, but on the other one a lot more healthy than anything else. And I don't know, I would say it's like the possibility is always there. The issue is being capable of capitalizing on it. And yeah, that has been my biggest fight, I guess, lately. They're trying to be part of that, but also, I don't know, it makes sense. No, we don't really possess a necessity to continue doing just one thing. The reality is we could always try, be on the lookout for anything new. out there. This justification that the reason invented of, yeah, yeah, maybe if we keep trying, tomorrow something new will happen out there. Maybe tomorrow we find that the new holy grail of for time. We will find a new activity that will be 1,000 times more productive or impactful or what is it? Or beneficial in terms of income or capable of allowing me to reach to more places than anything else. So it's better to stay out in the sea of possibilities than to just go back to my tiny pond of already known chances that if I were to stack them, I would get to enjoy having a simpler life, less complicated one, but also I would say just a more enjoyable one. And I don't know, I it has been, I guess, a long week. It has been a long week. That's the second thing I can say. It's it's complicated to some degree to see how much things also happen. It's a world full of events in many ways. It's almost unavoidable to not feel, I wouldn't say overwhelmed. It's like the easy word out in this case. In these multiple cases, is always to say, oh, yeah, yeah, this thing overwhelms me, but it's not the same sense of being overwhelmed. You can even be overwhelmed with joy. It's just a very basic adjective to say, oh, yeah, yeah, this thing is overwhelming. Okay, I guess it's just the world of possibilities is, in one sense, capable of making one feel like no choice is the correct one, while on the other hand, the amount of things that happen in life, regardless of what we do, in terms of events in general in the world, in our local vicinity, in the hobbies that we have, in all of those things, are also capable of being overwhelming, but obviously not because we are not choosing the right thing, but rather due to how many things happen that make us feel in a way that if we were to try, it might as well be impossible to stay on top of everything. It's always a slow separation from the rest of the world, day by day, due to how many things happen. It's an open invitation. This sense of overwhelm is an open invitation to abandon the world because at the end of the day, I can always say, oh yeah, yeah, these things, all of these events, everything that happens out there is overwhelming. I need to retreat to my tiny bubble. So it's in that sense also overwhelming, but I don't know, it's interesting to see. I think it's something wonderful to see how many things are always happening. Observing the world is somehow useful, even if it's not by itself capable of creating any sense of happiness. It's something useful, just due to how the possibilities of at least trying to find, let's say it like this, through the observation of the world itself, we get also the possibility of realizing if what I was talking about, everything related to our personal interests and whatnot, are in some degree useful, in implying that we even have the possibility of observing someone else minimally related to what we like. Maybe I wouldn't say that it's impossible, even more with how things work nowadays. I think totally all of us possess the capacity now more than ever to declare that we have a unique interest, and not because we want uniqueness, but rather because it's easier to create something that is for ourselves than to try and create something that we can share with others. It's too much of a risk. I haven't I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about that. I think it's sad how much we say that we want to be out there. We have an interest in sharing and whatnot. Not truly. We are creating more than anything else bigger and bigger bubbles around ourselves about the things that we, or as an individual, we are, and at all at the same time carrying this handful of things that we share with others. And only when we meet each other through that tiny bubble of common interests, it's fun to realize the act of socializing. But when it comes to being oneself, it's too much of a risk to reveal anything of our own nature. It's too much of a, not just dangerous in the sense of, oh yeah, maybe I might end up being harmed. It's risky in terms of maybe even what we like might get destroyed. It's, if there has been a good work performed in the last century, I guess, it's the slow destruction of many things that we could call hobbies before. Nowadays, no, not unavoidably, not because it isn't a reasonable action to do so, but we have lost a lot of hobbies on, or at least of traditional hobbies. We have invented more and more particular things to like and whatnot, but the traditional older ones that maybe we shared even more have slowly been scraped. It's everything needs to be more specific, and it's through that at least we get to play with this idea of, yeah, yeah, I have an interest that is mine, so that's it. I am properly playing my role of a person who has their own interests in terms of, yeah, I like something. Even if I cannot share it with anyone else, I like something. The same thing happens with, in general, trying to see the world. Maybe if I like something and no one else likes it, I don't need to be out there. So I don't need to risk anything else. But I don't know, it's just things happen. The point is, things happen. And recent times have led to a lot of observation in the sense of, yeah, yeah. And despite things happening, uh, life continues. Wow, amazing discovery. Even if things happen, life does not stop. So that has been nice, I guess. And I don't know. I have just been looking around at all of that in terms of, wow, what a wonderful thing. And now we get to enjoy living, and in a certain way, going back to what I already mentioned, after deciding what one personally likes, being capable of following it, and also not losing oneself in everything else that happens outside, so to speak. Once all of those things happen, it becomes a very much possible thing to explore life. And I don't know, there are always things to partake in terms of just not simply doing, but also working towards. And there are many. The future, that's the point. The future is now closer than ever. It's funny to see how we have so many things that could happen if we were to just work on them. That it's an interesting prospect, I guess, how much the nature of things end up being not so complicated. It's it's a sad, I guess, a sad realization that yeah, it was to some degree easy enough to make things happen. See so many things that should happen, not happen because literally nobody cares. But on the other hand, at least we are extended the possibility of choosing something that we like and that we are interested in making come to reality, come to fruition, that magical world, make them become instead of just staying in the realm of an idea. And I don't know, it's interesting, I guess. So it's just trying to work with in unison with that, I guess. The complication is always accepting what one truly likes, if there is anything that we even like. Because it's better to not admit that we like anything. I already sort of explained all of this. You don't need to accept that you like anything, you don't need to commit to anything, you don't need to make efforts towards bringing anything to reality. Life can just stay the way it is, and that's it. There will be no other issue. But at the same time, I don't know, there is this other part of, yeah, I don't know, maybe by trying, we find out. So, yeah, that has been the personal journey so far, trying to see what's up uh, and living, I guess. So, yeah, that's in a very indirect way saying what happened. But I don't know. Has it been worth it? Yeah, I will assume so. I would pretty much assume so, yeah. If not, I think it's sort of sad to not have interest in anything of that sort, you know. The world is very open. It's better to try and have anything happening than to just abandon it all because it's heavy. But anyways, the point was we have like a too little time for many things. I started directly onto something. I wanted to be a little bit more relaxed, but suddenly unexpected events might occur in life. So we need to change plans. The capacity to adapt is somewhat wonderful. I guess, let's say it like this. Once the human spirit realizes that they don't need to surrender against a minimal degree of adversities, it becomes quite a funny journey throughout existence to realize that, yeah, you know what, and maybe if we have this word hiccups along the way, things are fine, and maybe if we have some tiny, unavoidable, or completely unexpected slash out of our control events happen, we can still try to keep moving and to make whatever we want to happen. You know, it has been quite a wonderful time just because of that. Seeing that things certainly, I guess, it's staying in topic with what I said before this past week, have not been truly contributing. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is not if everything goes directly like how we predicted it should, or if out of nowhere, I don't know, minor inconvenience happens, and just because a minor inconvenience came to be, we have now the possibility of ignoring it or acknowledging that it happened, fixing it, then moving ahead. Or on the other hand, this wonderful action of, oh wow, minor inconvenience. Time to fucking discard everything. Time to ruin what I wanted to have. I guess it's just, in general, it's all of that. It's complicated. It's not like it doesn't make sense why people react in that way. To some degree, sometimes we forget that things could happen. That degree of malleability is wonderful because if if we do not possess the enough awareness to realize that, yeah, sometimes things go completely into the wrong direction, and even then we can keep trying, we can keep going. It's no true issue. Just due to that, it's everything else sort of feels better. But whenever we're trying to talk about any of those things, it's just a better proposition, I guess. Preposition, idea, concept, or way of acting, basically, method. That's the proper word. A method to just plan out everything, than to be capable of just accepting that things might go wrong, moving ahead with a simpler plan that might not consider everything and just try to adapt. It's it's too risky in some ways, you know. It's too complicated to commit to just accepting the possibility of failure as something so much more possible than anything else. Failure is, in many ways, the biggest adversary of being, I will say, and sadly, because we do not like to mention it even in a useful manner, it just gets crucified as this completely dangerous thing to face, to be confronted with. Nobody wants to fail, nobody needs to fail, nobody has to fail. So we shall become perfect in completely useless ways, completely self defeating ways, instead of just having truly nice things. What's what's truly nice might not even truly exist nowadays, since we cannot even allow ourselves to dance with the risk of life as much as before. That's 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 a dangerous idea. That's in the past we had somewhat more exciting lives since everything was so much riskier, you know. it's it's not truly a good idea to say, oh yeah, you know what? It was better to be a parent, I don't know, in the 1800s than to be one nowadays. It was more entertaining that way. The risks that came with having a children were so much higher that now we don't even understand many of them until we are being confronted directly by it, until we enter in a conversation with what is a parent, what is having the responsibilities of having a kid or whatever. And it's something that we forget we need to have to some degree. Not trying to make it just out. Oh yeah. We need to repopulate the world. It's just reality of before we understood that it was still dangerous. Nowadays, it it's something that we have so much under control that we completely forget how important it is still to have it happen, not to have it controlled. It's underestimating the necessity for things because they seem too easy in some way. That's also part of the current world, I guess. I don't know. So sadly, we need. I will say it like that. I mean, that's a general statement. We need to create drama out things. We need to make them look like even bigger deals than what they are to some degree to be capable of acting, to be capable of getting any interest going in ourselves about those things. And it's not directly bad, but it's just intriguing to see it. And at the end, life is a lot of things. Why make it be so boring, you know? Life could take many forms, shapes, and colors, and whatever. Why make it so pale and boring and lacking everything else? It's just, okay, we are given life, and we can do whatever we want with it. Following not the simplest path, but rather the easiest path is the way. I don't know, man. It's pretty boring. I mean, to some degree, perhaps many regrets come in that way. At least that's what I feel like. Unavoidably, I feel like I have regrets and more regrets accumulating as I decide to just do what feels the easiest. That's to some degree, I guess, why doing what is the easiest is complicated, but at the same time, also, because the important distinction here, I need to mention it, or else I will feel bad, let's say. There are some ways in which we have lied to ourselves, let's say. We have created the discourse about these things being now bad and now being dangerous to have around and whatever. When in reality, it's not that they are bad, but it's just if we were to do them, we will also have to deal with the realization that many other things that we have in life might be complicated, might be wrong. In the final analysis, might be wrong. So, what the fuck am I trying to talk about? Being specific, funny reality is being honest is easy. It's not complicated to be honest. The issue is being honest because to some degree it involves a lot of things. On one hand, it sadly involves what the fuck being honest means. I remember having heard about this wonderful part of yeah. People commit like honesty side or something like that. That will be the translation, I guess, of being so honest that it's like throwing it on the face of everyone else. No, obviously not to that level of sacrificing yourself for the sake of making everyone see the truth. No. It's just accepting that I don't need to add so many filters to what I am saying. I don't need to have 1,000 layers for what I am trying to go for. Instead, I will just say what I want to say. And sometimes this is very much circular. What I already mentioned. Sometimes, if I have to be honest, I have to talk about the things that I like. And if I have to talk about the things that I like, I might be making a very grievous mistake if I reveal in this This wonderful thing that we have created called context. If I reveal in the wrong context that I like something, I might end up being completely shamed. So, because I need to be aware of my contexts and different places in which I have the possibility of dialogue, I might not choose to speak in different places. Honesty becomes less of of a of a choice in terms of being honest or not, but rather in which contexts about which things am I honest about. And it becomes more complicated in some cases. Lying seems better because, oh yeah, you know what? I I will need to, commit to doing something else. If I have to be honest, I don't enjoy. For example, let's say it like this. The most on point example is if I were honest and I said, yeah, you know what, I completely hate streaming, it will involve that I will also need to find something else that will replace it, and I will need to replace it with something else that seems meaningful. If I have even much more complicated, have I associated this thing of, in this case I mentioned streaming, with something that seems to possess any other meaning behind just the action itself? I will have to replace many things, not just my time spent doing this one activity, but also the other significations of things in terms of, oh yeah. I get, for example, something that I mentioned before. Being here might as well be a useful way to not just speak but also hear myself. I will have to find a way in which I will have to deal with myself. That's complicated. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I don't have an interest in having anything like that happen outside of this particular context. So I would rather stay enclosed in everything else and remain here because at the end, even if I don't fully like it, I can say that other people likes it, so we can all share this lie, or that at least personal lie, and I don't have to feel so guilty about what I said. If I can get other people to tell me that yeah, liking this is fine, because that's the fun part about liking things. It doesn't mean that you like something bad directly, and that's why being honest about liking something is hard, because you have to confront that you like something bad, and now you are going to be at risk for real. No. It's you like something good, maybe for the wrong reasons, and that's where honesty becomes even more complicated. But I don't know. I think it's useful. I like it very much. I guess it's a useful tool in the proper hands. Being capable of recognizing okay, let's say it like this. Many events happened throughout the day, in a sense of throughout what we experience, throughout, yeah, life. Many events happen throughout life, and we can, in many cases, interpret what we see, or we can lie and say, wow, this thing makes no sense. I have no idea why this thing is happening. Why is this happening to me? Why is this going on? What's the causes behind this one event? Why this consequence came to be? No idea. Or we can rather just observe things. That capacity to deduction, that certain quality, that comes with being a rational creature, making usage of that is quite useful. Ah, understanding the world instead of avoiding it is very interesting. I guess that's what I was trying to say. But yeah, it has also a week of that is seeing things, trying to see things instead of making it not to be what I truly want it to be. I don't know. This this is expression. It's sort of complicated because it isn't truly being your own enemy. It's not about entering an opposition with yourself, but just sometimes we forget that we're not as incapable as we believe that we are. So it becomes sort of complicated to properly take any decision in that sense, you know? It's sort of hard to be capable of saying, yeah, you know, I pretty much like this thing. I pretty much enjoyed this thing. I pretty much would rather have all of this than anything else. So it's just a different path, I guess. But yeah, that has been it, I guess. I don't know. That has been most of what happened this week, I guess. After that, I don't know. The issue is also it's been just 1 week, one very short week. Like I don't know. I would assume a proper line to say would be also I'm trying to take like life 1 week at a time, or not probably 1 day at a time is complicated. Staying just on the day that you live is pretty hard, I guess. The capacity to take everything into context or into consideration just within the day that you experience is sort of even more chaotic. Too much control over life to that degree is more complicated than at least just the week in general. Week by week living is to some degree easier. So it has been also trying to make better efforts in regards to considering stuff and whatnot. Also, I don't know why my fucking nose got clogged out of nowhere. Uh, I was trying to use it to fucking breathe while I have to speak, trying to breathe from there, but I guess I don't need it anymore. Anyways, anyway, I have to 5 minutes. The longest or shortest 5 minutes of my life. Okay, there it is. Wow. I I don't think I have a tissue paper with me to fucking try to clear my nose. Anyway, we we roll with that. It happens, I guess. Wow, water. What what a wonderful thing. Anyway, can I see the microphone? Why did I stop seeing the microphone? Literally, that's all that I care about. Show me the microphone. Is it working? Yeah. We are so comfy. You don't want to sleep? How good night? Thank you, thank you. How would rest? Don't be so tired. Try, despite what people tells you. If you try very hard on a sleeping wall, you do sleep better. So don't don't leave things so much out of your control. And have a good night. Thank you for being here. You know, yeah. I mean, unavoidably, being busy doing the things that you like will make you be tired. You know, committing to the life that you want is tiring, but as long as you enjoy being tired, I guess that's fine. Also, but yeah, sorry. Good night. Guys, that's that's the consequence of being here so late. I didn't want to be here so late today. Uh, I was trying to put up things. I opened OES and I opened. I am not even using Video. I don't remember. I think it's Mini 2 or something like that. This one. And my fucking PC almost exploded. One day, even if I say it here, it doesn't change anything. But just for the record, I guess we are pretty close to me not having a PC anymore because I think it's failing more and more lately. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure. But anyways, it happens. That's the problem of having a PC for like 10 years straight. The good thing is it lasted for so long. But what is it? Scheduled failure or whatever is it called of technology? So lovely. I love capitalism. I like to be forced to buy new things every single fucking time. There is nothing everlasting. The world is transitory. Everything is temporary. So I like to be reminded of that so much, Ufi. Anyway, also, my nose is getting even worse. This isn't even funny at this point or other. Hate it. Ah, I don't know. I guess stuff, a lot of stuff happened sadly, so it's also quite complicated to make a proper rundown of everything. But something very funny has been to see, to try and learn. One of the many things I had to try and learn about was, for example, music. It has been very wonderful to hear about music in a different way. It's very interesting to see how we use it ourselves even. It's very fantastic the reality of yeah. Music is so much a part of our lives that we don't really try to stop and think about it. It's just the unavoidable thing that always accompanies us without being of any particular usage. While in reality, I like music. I like music a lot. But I find it sad that we don't really think about it as anything else but, oh, yeah. Let's have this entertaining tune while we have to do something unentertaining. Not just that, I mean, it works like that on a first level, but I think music offers a lot more opportunities than just that. It has a lot more things going for itself than just music, you know. It has a lot more particular points and specific parts about it going than just this degree of, yeah, I get to lose myself on what I am hearing. I guess maybe it's not the best term, maybe, but at the same time, it's also the most correct one. I get to dissociate a little bit with what I am hearing from what I am doing, uh, and I don't know. I understand it, but I don't think it's the best way to use it. I don't condone that way of using music. I guess it has so much more potential than just that it's quite sad to see it happening that way. Let's say, we could be trying a lot more things than what we have nowadays. Not that we haven't even had any previous experience with that. Humanity is, in that sense, this whole statement of humanity is just reinventing itself every single time and rediscovering the wheel every other generation, not because, oh yeah, everything already existed, but rather just because we forget this stuff. We don't truly have the necessity to teach the new generations as much, so they have to figure things out for themselves, by themselves, and it gets complicated. We are slowly finding out ourselves once again. Oh, wow, yeah, music can have some other usage. Incredible. It can happen. No way. No way. You're telling me music can be more than just noise. Noise that feels good. No. Ah, um, I don't know. I like it. It's not that I don't, but it has more things than just that. It has more chances to be than just music. That has always been, I guess, a gripe with the world. Why have we made it mean so little? It could be so much greater. We have, in the era of interconnectivity and worldwideness, we have forgotten how useful music itself is for many things. And I mean, I don't know, we were even very close to a better comprehension of it. At least I personally feel like we had a lot more conscious music before, in the sense that more creators of it were interested in possessing any sort of message. Nowadays, sadly, I understand that in some cases it happens that sadly the cult of the message of oh yeah, we need to have a message and we need to be so fucking deep, bro, makes it so that music like that still exists, but also sadly it is incredibly fucking weird. It's not something that you can share with the average person and they will understand it. It's just oh yeah. This has so many layers of meaning. You will never get it. No man. It's just it can be useful as much, let's say like this, music is as much of a tool for the provocation of thought as any other. So why not try to return it to that state, We can instigate many more things with music. Why not? live in a life of more instigation, I guess. Yeah, a controversial opinion. We should be more pushed towards everything. We should be more reminded that we have possibilities. We can do things. Life doesn't need to be so boring. Oh yeah, my life is boring. My life lacks meaning. My life lacks that fire, that cinder of proper interest. You know, you can go out there and have an entertaining life. Do you? Question mark? Incredibly huge question mark. Do you truly know that? Or have we already started to forget that, yeah, life can be interesting? Wow, amazing. No way you're telling me life can be interesting. But yeah, that's also another thing, I guess. Having gotten back to this point out music, to this point out, yeah. We get things to think about, we get tiny memories to have, and we get tiny parts to see and whatnot. It's very wonderful in that way. But I don't know. Just there are so many things always that sometimes we get to focus on things also. It's not like I literally just meant to point out it before. It's not like focusing on something as well. Rather, it's pretty much a necessity to focus on something to try and believe that we might properly have a properly enjoyable life. We might need to actually commit to anything, because at the very least, by doing that, we get to see which things we truly like or not. So that's very much a beginning that we can find incredibly helpful later on. So it's not bad to focus on things, but what is bad indeed is that sadly, when we are trying to do that, also we have issues of, and sometimes we focus on things that we do not truly know, we do not like. It's going back to honesty. We forget that we need to like the things that we have, that we do. So, you know what? I have already spent time on this. Now I need to find something that I truly like and throw away all of my investment of this other thing. No way. But anyway, doesn't matter. The point is that what I said before, we should instigate more things. Even if people makes mistakes on what their lives are about, they can still change directions and survive it pretty well, I guess. I don't know. Also, I have like I have like half an hour extra. So let me say it like this. Let me say it like this. I have been struggling a fucking lot lately. This past week has also been an incredibly big struggle for me, because I went back onto something that I have sort of forgotten about before. This whole side of, yeah, and the world has a lot of preoccupying shit going on always, and it's okay. We have pretty much the common events, the most current common, nameable by everyone, events that every single person is sort of aware about. Okay, yeah, but also we have so many other preoccupying things that do happen that seem so impossible to solve. Sadly, even worse, not they seem possible to solve as long as you are someone who isn't you. Exactly. who isn't in any way who we are right now. It is that we can solve them. If we are not an individual, but rather a collection of people, then yeah, those things can be solved. But sadly, many things right now have evolved to the level to which we need changes in such a big scale that it might as well be impossible. We need people themselves to change in so many things. And you know what? It's kind of complicated. It's not so easy to make the world a better place when you are asking half of its population to make some sacrifices, to lose things that they might have enjoyed doing before. It's am I willing to give up my happiness just because someone else might be promising me something new that might be beneficial? Might be. Huge emphasis on the might. It isn't even guaranteed that it will work. Am I truly interested in trying that? In giving myself up for that? Maybe not. So maybe we can try it here. Maybe we say that, you know what, we don't need to deal with this new promise. And I will still propose also a very much important thing here. It doesn't mean that because people are unwilling, it's not possible to be achieved. It is still just on the level of there are so many things that require effort, brother. We have so many battles to make. We have so many fights to fight still. We are so far away from being done with life that, oh man, no way. Why do we have to live in this world? Why can't we segregate ourselves? And that's the wonderful truth. Well, you can always give up on being a social creature. What I mentioned before, you can slowly uh, remove yourself and lose more and more the possibilities of involving yourself in anything else. That's beautiful embrace that the person gets about. Oh yeah, it's the social events are hopeless. The social change is impossible to be achieved. It's the only thing that matters is me and my family, and that's it. Nothing else is important. Nothing else needs to be called important. And I don't know. I just think it's sort of weird, you know? Sort of strange to say the least. But such is life, I guess. Such is life in many ways. Anyway, I guess I guess that will be it for today. I don't know. Tomorrow tomorrow I shouldn't be here so fucking late. That will be a good start. But yeah, tomorrow we will be back with what? No idea. With something probably. But yeah, it's like late. What a little dog with so many things. I don't know. I guess watch stuff. Immerse yourself in things. That's something interesting always. And live life faster. I guess try to go faster through the events that life has to offer to anybody. That's quite a wonderful activity, even to be part of the things that you might like, you might enjoy. You know? But we don't need to think about it that much. We don't need to be so responsible. So don't worry. Anyway, uh, now I need to get up. Okay, one day I will buy a mouse that I can carry around all my house, and I will use that to click the button instead of this thing that makes me get up. Anyway, good night.